Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Baby, you can get on my boat and make it rock, yeah. Baby, you can get on my boat and make it rock, yeah.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of webinars in Grad on Inspire, where we have a number of exciting initiatives lined up of webinars happening every day throughout 24th to 27th. So even though we're on the 27th of October today, we're going to be talking about a very, very current and relevant issue, which is the 2020 Workplace in Review. So we wanted to have our panelists here to discuss a bit more about how the year has been for themselves and their organizations. And, without a doubt, 2020 has been one of the most exciting and unpredictable years, especially for, corporate Malaysia, and where there's so many changes after changes has been introduced and industries being affected. So we wanted to discuss a little bit more. Today, we are privileged to have Louis Cho, who is the Talent Acquisition and Employer Branding Manager of Avato. Hi, Louis.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
We have Wong Mi Fong, who is the Head of Talent Acquisition from Maxis.
Hi, thanks, Nada. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And Shariza Muhammad Razi, who is the Talent Acquisition Manager of Nestle.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Nada.
Thanks. And we have Nur Adli Walid, who is the Head of Human Resources, SIMW Oils. Hi, Adli.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Nada, for having me.
Thanks. So I wanted to, have the audience get to know you a bit more. So maybe we'll start off with Louis to share a bit of what you do in Avato. And also, I would like to know if you can share with us one word to describe 2020.
Okay, so a bit about myself. I look after the recruitment activities in Avato Systems Malaysia. So that ranges all the way from sourcing, screening, interviews and facilitating interviews, all the way to, onboarding as well for the candidates. For me, one word to really describe 2020, I would say adaptable. Now, adaptable meaning both employers as well as employees. It's kind of what I've noticed from 2020 that a lot of the major shifts in either employers, leading employers, or great, absolutely outstanding candidates. And a lot of the traits that I've noticed from both parties are their adaptability in this current climate and how they are able to position themselves to, add value and secure themselves a placement.
Thank you, Louis. So your word is, what was your word again?
Adaptable.
Adaptable, yes. Mi Fong, please share with us what you do in Maxis and one word.
Sure. Thanks, Nada. Hi, this is Mi Fong here from Maxis Talent Acquisition team. We are taking care of the experience hiring and also campus recruitment as well. So if given a chance to describe one word to describe 2020, I would say opportunities, because Maxis creates a lot of opportunities that challenge our creativity and innovation. So either in the recruitment business or even in the Maxis business generally, or even a personal level, I think we have a plenty of new opportunities that we never thought of. And we never thought we'll be owning it or having it, but it happens. So let me quote you example. For example, in terms of the learning opportunities. So I personally have a chance to engage with an international guru in their specialization. Before that, I never thought that I would be traveling, to the country, or we shall wait for them to come to Malaysia. But with this kind of situation, everyone go virtual. So I personally have a chance to meet up few mentors. Yeah, I think that's the words that I would like to describe for 2020.
Opportunity, that's nice. Sherry, what about you?
Sure. So I'm Shariza, or you call me Sherry for short. I head the talent acquisition team in Nestle Malaysia and Singapore. So I look after recruitment and employer branding for the company. I think for me, if I were to describe 2020, it would be that it is an adventure. Yeah. I think the world is going through so much uncertainty today with COVID-19. We're learning new things every day. As HR practitioners, I think the organization also now realizes that HR does play an important part of the company to ensure that the company is able to run And during these difficult times, I think HR has been a very much an important part of the company to ensure that things do move the way we want to. So it's really, for me, it's an adventure because we learn every day. There's always something new. You're adapting, as Louis mentioned. You're capturing opportunities, as Mifong mentioned, and it's learning on the go, as I would say it. Really an adventure.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree.
Yes.
And Adli, what do you think?
All right. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon all. My name is Nur Adli Wadi. You can call me Adli. I'm the head of HR of Sandabi Oils. For those who don't know, we are a subsidiary under Sandabi Plantation, where we are focusing on the downstream arm of the business. So our business is looking into development and production of oil and fats produce and product, right? So we are based in 9 countries, and I'm managing the human resource function across these 9 countries. And in view of the keywords that we're looking at for 2020, right? To me, I think it's about realization, right? So in the context of 2020, we realized a lot of things, not just in view of the environment, in view of the business, and in view of our own self, right? So I think the context of 2020, we continue to, for example, environment, we start seeing that, hey, the mother nature can actually live without us, right? So then we talk about the business. And we talk about the business, and we say that, hey, all this while bear in mind, Sandabi Oils and Sandabi as whole is a GLC. And when it comes to GLC, we are a bit old school in how the management is viewing things. So we talk about, hey, we want to introduce a flexible working arrangement. To them, nah, right? We look at productivity. Are these people going to work at home? Suddenly, 2020, here you go, right? All the concern that the bosses that had before, oh, can they work from home? We're still delivering. We're still trying to ride the wave, but we can work regardless, right? And I think the other thing is self, right? I mean, for me, and particularly my partner, my wife, right, at home, we now realize that, hey, I can actually multitask more. I can do my work, see and scream at my kids who's actually having their class next to me. So all of that is about realization of a lot of things, realization of the need to adapt, the need to actually look at opportunity, the need to take things as an adventure, be positive and negative, right? So that's my view of 2020.
So, I mean, just to summarize, so we need to realize that 2020 is an adventure and we need to be adaptable to grab all opportunities, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. It's as if we rehearsed it earlier. But anyway.
We didn't, guys, I promise.
Adi, I'm going to start with you. So let's talk about 2020 and the impacts that it's brought to the workplace. What do you think has been the most significant for Sandabi Oils and why?
Okay, I think let me put it into two note, particularly one close to home, which is Malaysia, and then the context of overall global setup that we are. All right, so closer to home, I think when we went for the first MCO, right, somewhere in 18 March this year, there was a lot of uncertainties. And I mean, even not just us as an organization, even the government, even the ministry that we're going to go in. And as a manufacturing organization where we run refineries and suddenly told that we can only run at 50% capacity, I mean, that actually the first jitter is, can we sustain our business, right? And I think as an organization, the first thing that we say, yes, there will be some hiccup, but we will persevere and really reset and say, okay, let's find a way to make this work, right? And the view is, everyone will say, oh, 2020 impact our business, but if you look at it, everyone now starts at the same level playing field. Not a single company is above the other. So now kind of like a reset, say, guys, we now can go to the market as the same as the other company is going to the market, because now it's a level playing field. So yes, there's some impact, but I think we find a way to actually maneuver ourselves, even particularly with the global setting, because we do have operation in APAC, in EMEA, and also the Oceania, right? So the context is technology sadly became more apparent. Prior to this, probably investment in technology is something that the management would consider as next to operational investment. So now I think with more and more technology needed, technically it's a give and take. You reduce your cost into traveling, but you invest in technology. And when it comes to technology, other things that I think organization would need to look at is security, right? With more data flying in and out from the organization, the more the security needs to be stronger so that you can retain and control particularly your employee data per se. Right, so that's my view in terms of what it's brought. I mean, the impact started as a bit negative, then we contextualize and put it in a different spin and say it's a positive note. Yeah.
It's always like that, right? You need to see how you can actually, look for the silver lining to turn a challenge into an opportunity right now, and that's where everyone is right now. So I know, Sherry, in Nestle, you introduced quite a number of initiatives, and things have changed throughout the year. How has it impacted Nestle in general?
Yeah, I think like many companies, as we said earlier, a lot of, we were really forced to do things differently, from managing talents to, hiring to even, managing office spaces, right? And really, as Ajli mentioned, I think we really needed to leverage on digital firstly to ensure that we can still operate well in today's world. For us, even we continued to hire despite the difficult times. I think it was important for us to help the Malaysians in this current situation. So sometime in August, when we celebrated International Youth Day, we had really committed to hire 500 youth, providing them different opportunities. If it's not a full-time role, it's also like a part-time role, even internships throughout the next 2 years. It's really providing that opportunity, and we knew that it would be difficult because it would be different because we were not able to hire normally through interviews or running assessment centers the usual way. We had to learn how to hire virtually. We had to get line managers on board to make the decision, to be comfortable to make this decision to hire talents virtually as well. And when we onboarded them, we wanted to make sure that they had to be onboarded virtually because we had no other choice, and to ensure that they are onboarded well so that they can also be part of the company at the same time, although it's different, and also perform the same as we want. So I think this flexibility that has given us in 2020, it has definitely brought a lot of challenges, even to companies like Nestle and everywhere around. For us, we also launched a remote working guideline, so to really encourage this whole flexible working arrangement that really allows employees to continue to deliver their task, at the same time try to strike a better balance between work and life at the same time. And I think I'm with Adli also on this one, because it's not really easy to strike that balance, because you're on your laptop the whole day, right? The whole day you're looking at your screen. How do you now find that balance where you can still spend time with the family, run your errands at home, your chores, your cooking and all that, but at the same time perform in your role? So I think these are the things that are shifting for companies also in Nestle, and then we're really adapting as we go along.
Yeah. I think taking from what you said, everyone's learning basically how to adjust and adapt to this year. But the tricky bit is that we have to learn fast, because
Yes.
it just happened and suddenly everyone's supposed to work from home, almost such short notice. So if an organization is not ready for that, that's where challenges
correct,
right?
Yeah.
So learn
fast.
From each other, from your colleagues will also be helpful.
Correct. Yeah.
Mifong, wanted to ask you about Maxis, because you are a technology company and everything. So how has things been different for you?
To me and also to Maxis and to my team. And if you ask me in terms of the impact itself, like what Adli say in terms of the digital readiness, and Sherry talk about the struggle between the personal and also work responsibilities. I would like to relate that to is more on the emotional engagement among the employees, regardless whether new hire or even the experience. The current employees. Because say for example, let's quote about new hires. Imagine first day after on board, you never met your colleagues. you never, you only meet your bosses like, virtually. And then I think that's very important. That's why we redesigned the entire onboarding programs. We even have the virtual office tour to let them visualize, hey, this is the office, this is a pantry, etc. And also we kind of try to have a interactive onboarding sessions. We even have a physical fitness session. We have an interactive Q&A to create that kind of a sense of belonging, because virtual world, right, is the new norm. So we have to cope with it. And in terms of the day-to-day, we also see that you see a lot of compassion element and also humanity in the management style, in management and leadership. Because I think, like for example, I have a team member say, with a baby, less than 1 year old, and every time I hold a call with her, you overheard like that kind of type. So she was trying to sleep the baby. I mean, so that she can concentrate on the work. And also I have a colleague, I have twins. Left is doing spelling, right side is doing drawing. So I mean, we need to include the element that. So I see that as we go and even after this COVID, we will see a lot of humanity and compassion in our management in a corporate as well. Yeah.
It has taught us all to be a bit more understanding, I guess, of each other's lives. For Lewis, basically, how has your company as well as your industry been affected by the pandemic?
I think it's good for me to follow up from Adley and also Sherry. I mean, with being a business that's digitally, at forefront in terms of digitalization, a big portion in terms of our flexible working or remote working has already been in place for several years already. This year in itself really tipped the balance to, I guess, fully go into the 5 days a week directly remote working. So we had a bit of a head start. And I guess what it showed to me this year was maturity for our business, not only from an employer's perspective and also the employees as well, how willing everyone was able to adapt and work together in a very cohesive manner. Everything in terms of the framework for us was already there. It's just how it's going to be coordinated, and what Mei Fong said, which is the whole human element to it. It needs that nurture and guidance to really kick that off. So this year, I guess maturity has been the biggest thing within our business that I saw. In terms of impact for the IT industry, personally, I see it as it's going up. I think more and more end users and businesses are gearing towards being more of a remote-centric working. With that said, they need to heavily invest, and which I've been seeing in the market, they've been heavily investing in IT professionals to sit internally to facilitate and guide them through this whole journey. And so I think in terms of the IT industry, it's been an opportunity really came out for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Suddenly, IT has become something everyone depends on. I mean, even for Graduan, we're very privileged that we've been planning for this digitization for a few years. So when this happened, we managed to move very quickly and have even Graduan Aspire to be something virtual. Adley, I would like to find out, so with everything that has happened this year, what are you especially excited about what 2020 has brought to the workplace? I mean, besides working from home and us being able to do things like onboarding and everything online, what's something that is exciting for you for this year?
I think for Sandabeat Halls per se, right? 2020 was actually the year where we kicked off our transformation 5-year journey, right? To grow to grow 3 times from where we are, right? So when it all started, everyone was raring to go. We're going to do this. We're gonna make the next 5 years the best journey ever for the company, and then suddenly COVID happens, right? So it's kind of like we're ready to go. Suddenly we rev the car and there's no gas, right? So I think my view, the good thing that we see is every one of us rally each other up to say that. I mean, the camaraderie, the collaboration is what I think Lewis put it across. the synergy of us working side by side to say that yes, from the top of the leadership team to the management team to the people on the ground, everyone is just there supporting each other to say that we will ride through this. We will be together. There will be challenges in the couple of months to come, probably a couple of years, because we don't even know whether this COVID is going to stay, right? The question is, even post-vaccine, there will be still concern on this. So the question is, what one positive thing that we realize is, most of the team member realized that, hey, if we can get through this, we can get through this together, the sky is the limit for us, right? It's just a matter of breaking that mind block to say that, oh, we can't deliver the transformation just because COVID is here. No, we find ways together. The whole idea is about together, right? Be it in South Africa, Liverpool, where our operation is, all of this because we continue to say that let's pull and create that message, that clear message across to the team. Let's communicate it via multiple channels. Let's do town hall online. Let's do video messaging that we go out and we send out to all our employees to say that, guys, we're still in it. We're working together. Let's push, right? And celebrate whatever wins that we get along the way, so that the sail that we just actually let down, the wind is picking up. So it's all about. I think Mifon put it across, like the opportunity is there, realize it, and just push through together. So that's my view in terms of why I see the setting of 2020 has been, and where it actually gives positivity to the organization.
Yeah, I think it's really good, especially for the new joiners or the young ones joining. It sets the tone, for them and the attitude, because it makes them realize that, rain or shine, COVID, non-COVID, things should still move and it's possible. And like you said earlier on, you didn't think, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do it because of this, because of that. Some companies, should we still onboard our talents because we can't do it physically? But now we have ways like Sherry was mentioning, you did onboarding online, Nifong did the virtual tours, it's nothing is impossible anymore. So Sherry, where do you see the future of work heading to? Do you think, in a year or two, when all of this has hopefully gone away and we can travel again and things are nice again, do you think things will slowly creep back to be what it was, or where do you see the future of the workplace heading to?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Nada. I think this one's an interesting one. I'm pretty sure all of us have read pretty much a lot about, people talking about what would be the new workplace like in the future. I think we talked a lot about, digital, things moving digital, things moving online. A lot of things can be done remotely. I think people will definitely spend lesser time in the office. You will have lesser physical interactions with your colleagues, but more screen time with them. This could mean a good thing, now you have probably a desk to go to in the office. At least for Nestle, we have not practiced the open space concept yet. But moving forward, you will need to, go in and just sit with anyone, and that will really help you maybe foster new relationships, build bigger collaborations with different teams, right? And with this whole balance from working from home and office, you could probably have more time with the family. At the same time, who knows, a 9-to-5 job might not even exist in the future, right? Because you can be productive at any part of the time of the day. And you might even have, people joining the team from different parts of the world, just virtually as well. So I would say that in whatever we do, I think the digital forefront or the tools that we would invest in is definitely very important. I think this would really help us move in the journey that we're going to. And this would really kind of, really cater as well for the millennials out there, because they are the ones who are joining the workplace today, and they are already on that journey a while ago. So they would really, feel that it's really a complement of these new changes that we have. And I think, who knows what the new jobs of the future would be if everything can be done remotely and virtually. You don't know what sort of new jobs can actually come out in the next couple of years.
It'll be really interesting to see what pops out,
Yeah.
So, Mifong, 2020 has changed the way we communicate and reach, to our customers, especially for Maxis. Gradon especially has introduced various ways for companies to connect with graduates and talent as well. What are some initiatives you found most useful for your company, and basically throughout this year, how has Maxis continuously engaged with talents?
Oh yeah, I think that's very interesting questions, because I think in Maxis we always put customer first. I think that's very important. So let's high level talk about external customers. So we are tapping on the Penjana grant by government, and also we are actually selected as technology solution provider by MDEC. So by helping the SME to transform the digital journey in the business. So I think that's the customer side, that is some initiative that we have been doing. And also CSR, I think these are the part of the committee is also our customer side. So we have this signature program called E-Class. If you go to eclass.com.my, in fact, before that, our Maxis employees are actually the volunteers. But now with this MCO, we would like the students to learn from home. So we are actually providing more than 1,000 free learning content for all level students from UPSR and SPM. I think that's a very good initiative from the customers to our external customers. So what internal, of course, is employees. So every initiative that we do for employees, we always have follow the 3 pillars. For example, one is actually customer first. Again, just now I briefly talked about the onboarding, how we actually come up with this interactive digital onboarding session. We also have this Maxis signature called Maxis Positive to cater the needs of the employees that need help. It's talking about mental health here, right? So we have these apps that's actually for employees. They can is 24/7. You can even reach out to psychologists, doctors, fitness coach, and so for the support, it can be by call, video calls. All this is actually one of initiative, and also the other one is actually the financial aid. During the month of Ramadan, I think we actually offered the financial aid to those employees that just prepare themselves for the festive seasons with the family at home, and even to welcome our colleagues back to office. We have this RT, we return to office video and initiative as well. So this is more on the customers, into the customers. Now, we never forget about fun at work, because I think we just move our physical fitness classes to digital. We have Zumba, yoga, everything digital, and we even have this treasure hunt as well. Now, the other things is actually we have this initiative called Box Drops, where it's very thoughtful initiative where we have this network guys that ensuring that our connectivity is running smoothly, just like how we can talk today, and also our retail front runners as well. So we have this surprise visit and delivery the lunch boxes to them. So this is something fun at work initiative, I think. And the other is actually regardless of what situation, driving innovation is never so-called the big questions in Maxis, because regardless of the situation, we need to continue driving the innovation. So our Maxis Academy, our learning partners have been working restlessly when it comes to designing the certain learning programs to cater the needs of the certain business units or certain group of employees that need help, right? So it can be leadership side, it also can be how you actually manage a team virtually, for example. And the other thing is actually innovation. So we always have our technology competition. So this year is the 2nd year of our Maxis National IoT Challenge organized by Maxis, and also we were participating in ASEAN AWS championship called Deep Racer. I think it's called a Deep Racer competition. And proud to say that our Maxis team won the 2nd place in ASEAN. And I also want to highlight that one of the employees that in participating is actually our Maxis graduate, our Maxis technology graduates. Also, these are the things that will continue driving us. I think these are the initiatives that bring to have that kind of engagement, getting stronger. That's how we talk about emotional engagement. So this is really to continue driving that. It's just that it's a new norm. The way we drive initiative slightly different, but we will continue driving that. Yeah,
that's good to know, and congratulations for the talent that actually won. Louis, I wanted to ask you, with everything that has happened, what are some initiatives that Avato has taken to address the changes brought about by 2020? Anything interesting to share?
I would say it's a bit of a bipolar opposite. We didn't want to emphasize the whole COVID-19 situation. We didn't want to make it a bit more distressing for our employees. So what we have always done is had initiatives throughout the whole year. This is ranging from CSR all the way to Innovation Day, all the way to quarterly activities, whether or not that's sport or that's something that's virtual. This year alone, I mean, what we did was actually just pulled everything across and moved it virtually.
Yeah.
So instead of having sports activities, we had online gaming activities where everyone just logs in and play the same game. And these are puzzle games where we also invite the kids to even join in and participate as well. So these were something that we did our best to look at, still filling the slots on these activities and engagement work to ensure that no one feels like, oh, I've been away from the office, I've been away from my colleagues for too long. I feel like, I'm not even in the office, in the company anymore. We didn't want them to have that sort of feeling. At the same time, we didn't want to do, activities just orientated around to kind of remind them, hey, this is a COVID-19 situation. We want to kind of make them as relaxed as possible and just treat it as, this is just the new normal. This is just how it's going to be for the near future. Then obviously with CSR, there's that bit of barrier of physical contact, and we try to raise donations just throughout the house, or even just with cooking activities where our employees start cooking and they take pictures and goes all over social media to see who's cooked the best dish, and then our company awards them. Things like that. We do our best to kind of make sure that our year is jam-packed with these sort of engagement activities. Whereas for training side, we usually in the past had our trainers come into the office and occupy a lot of the space. This is all still happening, but it's just virtual. Nothing's changed for us. We've just moved it so we've got that bit of a barrier between physical contact.
Yeah, I think it's nice when you do it that way, because it's not like, oh no, COVID-19, the monster is here. You know what I mean? As in, we come up with initiatives that actually allows the workforce to feel comfortable. These are things that they normally do, because after you cook a really pretty meal, you normally take a photo and send it to your friends anyway. So you're just trying to foster that same relationship. Yesterday, we were talking to an organization. I think they built an app, a gaming app within their team as well, so that everyone can start playing on the app as well. So it's similar to what you're doing at Avato, which is really cool, because you talk to your team, you see what appeals to them, and create things that they would actually be part of, not just for the sake of trying to remove the gap. So that's cool. Adli, what are some work trends to look out for? Do you think the introduction of the gig economy is something that will be interesting for us, or what do you think? Where are we headed to?
Okay. The view of work trends, right? I mean, there's a lot of write-ups there at the internet saying that, okay, what we're looking at: remote working, gig economy, contingent workers versus permanent. Then we have people saying data overload. So, I mean, if I were to look at what will be the work trend that we have to look at, first thing first, before even going into that, the message that I wanted to share to the graduates, right, that is viewing this. I mean, first thing first, do not get too hung up in terms of what you study during your student time, right? Your courses, the courses that you take doesn't define where the journey that you will end up with. I mean, talking from experience, I'm a mechanical engineering student, now becoming the head of HR. Has nothing to do with HR, right? But I mean, looking at the trend at that point of time, right? Understanding the context of, all right, reading the market in terms of engineering function, where I would end up with. I decided to say, okay, let's look at general management line, go into management training program, so that I say that I will not be limiting myself in just becoming an engineer, but one day I could even be a CEO. I don't know. That was like 12 years before, right? So looking at the trend, as I said, there is a view more towards a bit more short-term recruitment process in terms of hiring more contingent, right? Not permanent per se, because more and more organizations would want to actually safeguard in terms of, do we have the ability to afford to still continue the journey as an organization, right? Doesn't mean that if you go into this contingent or contract-based worker, that it's a loss to you as a graduate. I mean, any experience gain in any working exposure, it will actually add up, right? So in terms of what I'll see is a lot more organization as they became more prudent, they will shift in terms of how they are operating, right? And in that context, there will be shifting in terms of how hiring would be, how offer will come in terms of employment. In that context, as a graduate, you need to be able to quickly adapt, right? And to always look at it, if you think that, oh, I don't want contract work because my mom said if you're in a contract working environment, more often than not, the company will cut you at the first side of opportunity, right? But take it at a different context. It is going to be the new trend. At the same time, as an organization, the trend that needs to be when we are now bringing this kind of employee is to ensure that what Louis said, the engagement and the enablement that needs to be put in place to ensure that regardless where they are, because nowadays it's no longer about I need to see you in front of me so that I know you're productive, right? It's about how people work and how business get done now is irrelevant where you are, right? As long as you're delivering productivity, delivering the productivity that the organization is looking at, and the same time the organization is providing that engagement to you to ensure that you are enabled, and at the same time you can deliver. I think that is where the trend is going to be more touch and go gig kind of setup, right? More entrepreneurial based, even in an organization as a GLC like us, more and more shifting towards the entrepreneurial thinking, to say that if you are working with this company, right, the view is you have to have a head to say that if I am the owner of this organization, what would I do, right? So those kind of things will need to be taken into consideration, particularly for our upcoming graduates, right? So I think that's from my end line in terms of work trends that we can look at going forward.
A big factor of it would be a change in the mindset, right? There's always some taboo with contract or anything like that, but actually it's an opportunity for them to excel in their skill.
Yeah.
So Sherry, just wanted to ask, looking at the positive impacts that COVID or this year has brought to us, what to you has been the silver lining?
I think for Nestle, I think it was a tough year for everyone, and I think for Nestle, despite all the challenges, we had managed to put on a good performance in the business front. I think for us, the business priorities did not change. We did want to ensure safety of our employees first, and especially our frontliners. For example, they are the ones who, you needed to ensure that the supply of food and beverages was there for the Malaysians out there and during these difficult times of need. So I think one positive impact that we would have is, I think, had actually for us in Nestle, we were able to still continue to be creative on how we reach out to our consumers in this new norm. Good thing is, I think, especially I can speak for talent acquisition, I think we invested more on social media presence. And I think that did bring in positive value to us, especially when attracting the young ones. Yeah. And I think this whole, COVID-19 or even the situation of what we have today, I think a lot of opportunities will open more doors for mothers, new mothers, or who took a career break, for example, during this previously. And now with this whole flexibility, perhaps they could even return to the workplace and even have more time with the family, at the same time be able to build their careers as well. So yeah, there is definitely that silver lining. Despite all the challenges, I think every company would have captured the different opportunities in different areas. And yeah, we just have to take it as we go. I always tell my team, I think, sometimes you have to take it day by day because, like you said, things changes all the time. You need to have a plan B, a plan C in mind, and thinking that things can change any other day, and that's how we go these days, I guess.
Yeah. Mifa, I wanted to know, I mean, looking at it from a graduate point of view, like, how can a young talent prepare themselves for, what the future holds, or even now?
Now, I think that's I think difficult time like this is actually make us like a rubber band. We've been stretched, and you will be tested in terms of your capabilities and your flexibility, resourcefulness as well. I think grab it, embrace it, because this year is going to be, these 2 years, it's going to be very memorable for everyone, especially young talent that entering in the job market. For those that already just landed a job and just found a job, so I think treat JD job description is just a guide, okay? So response you're accountable for is very important, and offer help is like, a lot of young talent these days, like, I'm here to learn. I think, yes, this is kind of standard script in most of the interview training, but guys, I mean, do offer your help, volunteer your so-called expertise, in a committee, in even company CSR, or even certain projects that you have. I think you need to perform beyond that JD. I think that's very important, and offer your help instead of ask for the help. I mean, yes, we need that the help, right? But then offer your expertise. I think this is very, very important. I would say that be more resourceful and creative. Things, okay, can be done this way, like Sherry say, plan A, plan B, plan C is so important. It has to be in your mind. What if this doesn't work? Go for plan B, plan C. I think that's very, very important. And I think flexibility is the word that we have to kind of in our mind in surviving for the next few days and next few years. Sorry, and maybe just a shout out here, and if for those that is still between jobs, and even you have graduated, explore with our Maxis internship programs as well. So I think just visit our Maxis career page and you'll find more information about that.
Okay. We actually have been receiving a lot of questions in the chat. I'll go straight to it. So there's been a lot of conversations about how management trainee programs are now being conducted, during the pandemic, because earlier on, it was very structured. 6 months, you move and you get different mentors throughout that time. It's a 2-year program, or, but now that things are done, a lot of it, I'm guessing, virtually. How are management training programs affected by all of this? Maybe we can get Sherry to start this off.
Sure. So for us, I think maybe I'll just give an example. We actually onboarded about 37 management trainees in October. It was very interesting because we had actually planned a whole 1 month cross-function onboarding plan for them. And then, smack in the middle, the CMCO was announced, so things were, changed immediately. I think for us, we are fortunate that we were able to hire the MTs on a fixed-term contract, so they are our permanent employees. They will still go through the rotations as planned. Of course, now with the situation, things might be slightly different, and it will be done virtually. But for us, for the guys who are based in the factory, the engineers which we hired, the production guys which we hired, and even the sales fields, I think they continue to operate as usual. So far, I think, touch wood, I think we have been able to still allow them to get that opportunity. So they will still continue to have their rotations. For me, it's very important for MTs. I think we hired them for a reason, and then most companies, and we have, we want to expose them in those different areas so that they can later on be future leaders of the company. So we would continue to give them that exposure as promised. Of course, with certain limitations, there will be some rotations will need to be done virtually. I guess no choice. It goes on with everyone else as well.
Yeah. Louis, I wanted to ask you, there was a question here about, so there's a lot of remote working in your organization right now, right? So how do we solve miscommunication between, team members, or even, colleagues, or even the employer and the, new talent, for example? How with the whole remote working, it makes things a bit more complicated. How does Avato do it?
Well, I think it's in essence it's not that complicated. I think the whole channel of messaging versus having the camera on and having that video call interaction so you can hear each other vocally, as well as gestures, of course, that adds into that. I think there's a big disparity and there's a big difference between just sending a simple message saying, hey team lead, am I doing this wrong? Versus, hey, let's have a chat, let's discuss what went wrong or what happened. We can resolve it. So I always say, look, with this situation, do your absolute best to treat this as if you were face to face with your colleagues in the office. You won't sit in one corner of the room and message them or send them an email. You'd actually go and talk to them and have that one-on-one session. And with this situation is exactly the same. Schedule a call and actually have a one-on-one time. And the benefits to it is that you won't feel so lonely. You get to talk to your colleagues, even though you're sat, you're very far away, but at least you get to see them face to face, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes, most of the time, it happens because people just don't talk, right? So it shouldn't.
I think that there's always going to be that level of miscommunication when it comes to messaging.
Yeah.
Best to do is just having a call.
Thank you. So we've also received quite a number of questions about how would an organization maintain its culture, when we're working in this hybrid manner. Earlier on, or like even for you and me, where we've been working now for some time, we know the culture of the company, we know what is expected of us, we train ourselves, and we have the momentum in us. So even if I'm working from home or anywhere else, we've got that groove in us. But what about the new talents? They're just about to join. They don't know what is expected of them. How can the culture of the organization then be translated to them? Anyone would like to take this?
Perhaps I can share our Maxis experience. Just for information, we just launched our Maxis 2.0 culture. So culture is so important to any organization. So what we do, say for example, we can actually have collaboration, virtual collaboration as well. So for example, when it comes to the virtual working arrangement like this, make sure that manager have a weekly huddle, maybe twice a week with them. And as I mentioned earlier, the compassion and empathy element have to be there, in ensuring that, especially new hire. I mean, having a so-called attrition rate during this period is no fun, right? We are hiring for mid and long term. We want to have engagement and provide a very good hiring experience to new hires. So it both ways, right? So for example, if you need help, seek for the help. The manager have to come in, the buddy systems, the colleagues have to be there. And when we do have say for example, virtual engagement, make sure that video is on, so that we sometimes facial expressions is very important, and also to culture element that we have various activities. So just for information, our learning programs, right? It's all the vendors are working with us. They have to include that kind of a Maxis culture language in the program, so they customize it for it, so that every time when we have the email sent by, can be CEO, CHRO, or even the managers, we try to include that the culture language in there, so that employees, especially new hires, what is this about? And also lead by example. I mean, it can be anyone, right? So from the employees, from the even from the auntie in the cafeteria. So they have continue being restless and providing the best service and customer first to internal and also external customer. That's very, very important. So walk the talk, and then that's include the culture element in it, because culture is not just for the shout out, hey, we have to do this, but let the employee embrace it, enjoy it, and walk the talk. So eventually will continue in inspiring and also influencing and educating the new hires to be part of the team.
Yep.
Thank you. How we were talking a lot about virtual onboarding, a lot of organizations will manage to take it online. We've actually received questions about how does an organization do a virtual onboarding?
Okay. Perhaps again for Maxis, I think I still remember MCO was on announced on Wednesday, and then we have our first ever digital onboarding on Monday, is the next Monday. In fact, there's no downtime at all. So what we do is actually, okay, onboarding program, we can continue doing that. But how about the laptop? How about the rest? So we actually arrange the delivery guy to deliver to their hometown. And some of them stuck not in KL, so 6 weeks not business there. So we deliver them, and we also have this personalized service, like our retail team in KLCC outlet. In fact, they took the initiative to deliver the SIM card. One of the benefits, of course, because we're telco, is SIM card. So ensure that the employees is engaged in a sense that what if there's no Wi-Fi in your home? So let's go for our mobile data. So we ensure that all this is delivered on time, on timely manner. At the same time, every time after the onboarding session, we get a feedback. Survey is so important for us to continue improving that. In fact, for the past, ever since MCO until now, we are continue looking into our onboarding programs to ensure that customers' needs met, and also to provide the very positive experience to the new hires, because I think this is very, very critical. We also heard some news that some companies decided not to onboard because they know what to do. But so Maxis always spearhead in doing that. So we kind of course you can imagine, right, after MCO, and then the first ever digital onboarding is also Monday. So it's like, imagine that the team, IT, HR services would work day and night to ensure that all the processes in place so that we can actually deliver the best onboarding experience to the new employees. Yeah.
That's nice. At least, as a graduate, you don't feel like, oh, I'm supposed to have an onboarding. What's happening? What's going to happen?
Yeah. So this is really able to be provided by the employer. Of course, as a new hires, you need to embrace it. You need to really have to cope with the new norm, right? So pick up the phone, talk to your managers, and talk to your friends or your colleagues, know them better.
Thank you, Mifong. So we're just about to run out of time. I'd like to ask one final question to all the panelists. Maybe Louis, we'll start with you. Any final thoughts of the year in review, and what can we expect from Avato in 2021?
As an IT business, it's I guess we're more self-sufficient in this sort of time. So what I can visualize for 2021, I would say there's going to be business opportunities for us. There's going to be a lot more business growth for us. Ultimately that come down to more job opportunities from our side of the business. So for us, I would personally say that it's pretty optimistic and quite a pleasant view for us in the IT industry. We're not that majorly impacted.
Okay. If anything, also it's a positive impact. Sherry?
Sure. I think on the business side for Nestle 2021, I think for our portfolios and brands, I think we will continue to grow, and we want to continue to invest here in Malaysia, which is a good thing. It will create job opportunities, and investing for the future is important for us. So we will be entering new product categories, having new plants and new technology, really to continue to grow here in Malaysia. On the other side, I think Nestle Malaysia headquarters, I think good news is we will also be moving our office to a new building in one powerhouse, Bandar Utama. It's actually a greener building. We are now in Surian Tower, Mutiara Damansara since 2009. So this building has served us well, but I think when we did these time and space utilization study, we realized that we did not have enough spaces to collaborate and ensure interactions among the bigger teams. So we actually, did this study, and we moved. We plan to move. So just timely in times of COVID as well, we are actually going to move early part of next year. So that's quite exciting for us. I'm hoping that it will also be great employer branding tool for us at the same time. Yeah.
It's always nice. I mean, that's something to look forward to.
Yes, yeah. And this whole new office space will really, help us have more collaboration spaces, and also, with this whole new norm, I guess we would have lesser people in the office at one time, because a lot of the others will be working remotely as well.
Thank you. Adli, what can we expect from 2021?
Right, for Sandabi Oz, I think I've shared earlier that we are at the starting point of a 5-year transformation journey to grow our bottom line performance 3 times from where we are, right? So that there's a lot of positivity in the journey. And in that context, I think we are gearing up to soldiering on against this COVID, right? So I think that's why we are also looking at injecting younger bloods into the organization to kind of like fit into a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things. Hence the creation of our graduate accelerated program, right? So we're looking at young talents to come in and be open-minded, challenge status quo, work with us because we need all the viewpoint, the lenses that can actually come to us and say that probably there's a better way to do this, right? To do things. Because at the point of us saying that we need to hit that 3 times mark, we would need to actually be agile enough and be open enough to actually take in new views, new ways, and we hope with the view of getting in a graduate accelerated program trainees to join us, it would actually create that perspective together with the current team. So 2021, it's still a positive note to us. At the starting journey, it will be fun, it will be crazy, but at the same time, I think we're looking forward for this. Yeah.
Looking forward to 2021. I think everyone's looking forward to a fresh start right now. Mifong, what about Maxis?
No, Maxis is fortunately we are in essential business, right? So do expect Maxis to launch enterprise solutions to help the Malaysian organizations for the digital transformation, right? Can be managed services, unified communications, IoT, cloud, and smart technology, smart security, etc. So that's more on the business side. For HR perspective, I think we will continue hiring those hot skills that are needed under the 9 pillar of Industry 4.0, talking about cybersecurity, IoT, cloud computing. We'll be continue hiring that. And do watch out our upcoming graduate programs as well. We are refreshing our entire Maxis graduate programs, and it's going to happen just few months from now because it's already end of October, right? So, but do not wait for the announcement. I mean, please feel free to reach out to us and send us your profiles and explore our internship as well. And then follow us in LinkedIn, in Instagram, watch out Live at Maxis about in social media. And also, I think most important, just in case you're not able to reach out to my team, and reach out to any employee in Maxis. They will definitely able to refer your CV to our team as well. So, it's going to be very, very exciting year in Maxis and continue driving innovation in every aspect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone. I think it's really refreshing to hear from you that we can all expect hopefully something, we can look forward to 2021, and we've learned so much this year, and hopefully these learnings can help us actually excel even better next year. So thank you so much for the afternoon. I think you've shared really interesting thoughts. We hope to connect with you again soon. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
2, 3, 4.